Welcome to the Vertical Buzz. I am your host, Buzz Lear, and this is the show where we actually talk to the people that are making vertical entertainment happen. And today, on this show, we have got some serious vertical star power. Emma Reinagel is one of the most highly sought after rising stars in the vertical entertainment world today. She is putting up big performances on that small screen that you watch more than anything else, your phone. So today we are going to be talking about acting in the 9:16, why that format is exploding, and what this next generation of actors is doing to make it their own. So, sound speeding? Speeding. Camera speeding? Speeding. This is the Vertical Buzz. Action. All right.
Oh, amazing.
How's that?
That was beautiful. Oh, I loved it.
I am so happy, Emma. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, come on, let's give it up for Emma. I mean, this is like one of the stars happening right now in vertical entertainment.
Thank
and I'm so honored that you even were able to get here to do this episode.
Of course, it's you. Of course I'd be here.
Well, first, before we really jump into some stuff, I want to give everybody your bio. So we're going to get into it.
Oh, no.
We're gonna make Emma sit here while I do the bio, and you can get nervous. Maybe you'll get a little bit red.
I probably will.
Okay, well, here we go. All right. Emma is a Los Angeles-based actor and producer, originally from, are you ready? St. Louis, Missouri.
Woo.
Yes, the gateway to the West. There you are. After receiving her BFA in acting from Missouri State University, which we're going to talk about here, she moved to LA and immediately began working as an actor in film and TV. Since then, she has starred in, ready? 10 plus feature films, 20 plus verticals, which is probably more at this point, and a handful of short films. And in fact, Emma and I actually worked in a feature film together.
We did.
And that was kind of highly acclaimed in 2025. We'll talk about that coming up here. And in 2023, she ventured into producing and beginning with short films. And recently she pivoted into the vertical world. Within her work in verticals as both an actor and a producer, Emma hopes to create work with empowered female characters, diverse and inclusive casts, elevated stories, and workplaces that are safe and positive for cast and crew. Emma Reinagel. Yes, we are so... Did I say that right?
Yes, you did. You did. It was successful.
Yes,
it's a doozy of a name.
No, I'm so glad to have you here and have you on the Vertical Buzz.
Yeah.
So, how was that bio? Did I get everything right?
You got everything right. You kept asking me for a bio, and I kept not sending it.
That's all right. Oh, that's all right.
But there it is. We got it in.
I understand that people are busy, so that's why I at least try to ask a little bit early on, so it's not like.
But also, anytime I'm asked to talk about myself, I'm like, what do I say? What have I done? Like my blanks out.
Well, you know what we're going to talk about first and just get it out of the way. Let's get how cool it was that we worked together on this film.
Yeah.
We worked on a feature film called The Abduction of Sal Bedford. And it actually was acclaimed. It won an award. We won Best Sci-Fi Feature at the LA Independent Film Festival last year, 2025. Yep. Right? Mm-hmm. Tell them about the film. I don't need to tell them. Go.
No, I mean, The Abduction of Sal Bedford, it is a found footage documentary style sci-fi horror is kind of the way I would frame it. Right. That follows a journalist that is hired. She actually works in reality TV more so, is hired by this woman to kind of investigate her husband, Sal Bedford.
I played Sal Bedford. Yes, I did.
Who she believes was abducted by aliens and might, in fact, be an alien himself.
But you don't know until the very exciting ending.
Yeah, so and I play Sal's daughter.
She does.
Jennifer, who is, after her childhood of being raised on true crime and FBI shows, becomes an FBI agent and is interviewed by this journalist about her experience growing up with her father and her mother. And it's very interesting. It's like a character study, I think, more than anything.
And it's one of those films that it's interesting that Emma and I were never on set together.
No, we weren't.
It was shot in such a way. It's shot like a documentary style. So it's an interview process where there's the interviewer, the moderator, and then the character. Mm-hmm. And then we get interviewed by this person. So we were never on set together. We each shot our days independently. But early on, but the thing that also I found interesting about that, which I was not aware of at the time, I don't think. I get not aware of a lot of stuff. I get accused of that by my kids all the time. Dad, you're not aware. But anyway, when the producers said we are venturing out, I remember in the table read that when we got together, that was the one time we all got to work together was the table read. When we did that, they said we are shooting a feature film in 5 days. Mm-hmm. That was the goal. And they did it. They actually accomplished that, which is almost early on Vertical-like to shoot a feature film that quickly. So it was kind of fun.
Yeah, no, it was very fun. And I mean, like we were briefly talking before we hopped on in here. Yeah. It was just the experience of doing like things kind of directly to camera or directly with like an interviewer. Mm-hmm. A lot of fun acting experimentation on my side of things.
Some of the longest monologues I've ever had to memorize. Yes. Those like whoa, pages and pages.
Yeah, you especially mine was a little bit more broken up, but you had, especially once you got into the latter half of the film, my God.
There was one scene, the one scene that I did. Now in editing, it didn't end up to be that long, but I talked for over 17 minutes. It was like 17 minutes straight that I told this story about going to the bar and running into the aliens. And it was long.
Yeah.
And I just remember learning that script, and it was actually a really good challenge for me to learn that lengthy of a script.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
No, it was a great experience. And we were talking about, there's a scene where my character kind of flips towards the end.
She does.
But at the table read, we had kind of been talking about that, and they were like, well, that's not written in, but that's like a really cool idea, because I kind of was like, that's the theme of this character who calls out this journalist for being,
because you actually work for the FBI.
For taking advantage of her parents, her like mom and the story and whatever. And so we got on set that day, and they're like, oh, we didn't end up writing that. Do you want to just improv something? And I was like, yeah,
and I didn't know this until you just told me this.
Yeah,
I didn't even realize
that whole scene was me improvising and making it up on the spot, and it turned into like one of my favorite scenes in the whole film.
It's one of mine, and what Emma does, you'll see it in the film, but she turns from being this very, accommodating person, answering the interviewer's questions, but there's always this little bit of hesitation, and I just attributed it to being, well, that's her FBI, training to be a little bit, not quite trusting of anybody. So she has that, but then there's that moment where she flips and gets really like, you really have taken advantage of my mother kind of an attitude. And it's really interesting. So I encourage you to watch it. The Abduction of Sal Bedford, Amazon Prime, Tubi. You can get it free on Tubi TV. So there's several of them. Just look it up. The Abduction of Sal Bedford. There you go. Let's get into verticals.
Verticals. That one's horizontal.
All right. Now, you grew up in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I did indeed.
So tell me a little bit about that early training at MS State.
Yeah. What was that?
What do they call them?
MSU.
We are.
I'm
sorry. It's a university.
It is.
I didn't mean to demean them and put them in the state category.
No. Okay. Well, we also call ourselves Mo State. So it's like.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So you do call them Mo State.
We call it Mo State or MSU. Those are the options. And people get it confused with the University of Missouri, which is Mizzou.
Mizzou. Right.
Not that one.
So it's not Mizzou.
Not Mizzou. No. I grew up in St. Louis, so spent the first 22 years of my life in the state of Missouri. I started in music more than acting.
Singing music?
Yeah. Well, nice. I started with I was put in piano lessons at like age 7-ish.
Nice.
that which translated into choir, which then translated into musical theater as it does.
Got it. Yep.
Which then translated into me as a high schooler being like, you know what? I'm going to be an actor. I'm going to go to school for acting.
That was my question. So the first acting thing that grabbed you was in high school, where you kind of said, oh, I'm going to do this.
I think that's when, I always, as like a kid, I was so engrossed in theater and performance.
Were you a hairbrush microphone?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, 100%. Okay. And like I did that was
theater. My daughter. My daughter was the same way. Hairbrush microphone.
Yeah. Since like I'd say probably, I think third grade-ish, fourth grade, somewhere in elementary schools when I started doing theater. Oh. But it wasn't until like high school where I was like, maybe I will actually do this as a career, which, as both of my parents are teachers, which is not, they don't have experience in the entertainment industry. Okay. It's not a path for
as long as they were supportive and encouraging, then that's all that matters.
So supportive and encouraging.
Yeah, mine were not. My mom was a housewife raising 5 kids, which was more than a full-time job. Yeah. And my dad was a sales guy. So, and they didn't get this at all.
Yeah, no, it's like removed from their experience, but I was very fortunate that both of them were and still are supportive of me going into this. And so, I was always like a very try-hard student. So I think it was as much of like, oh, she's always loved this, kind of a surprise of like, oh, she's not going to go into one of her more studious
Do you have siblings?
avenues. I have an older sister. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. And she went into
this?
No, she went into public health.
Whoa.
Yeah. So she works for the Madison, Wisconsin Health Department in lead abatement.
Lead abatement.
Yes. Okay. I don't know if she still runs.
That's kind of specific.
Yes. So like testing lead pipes, pipes for that. And, she ran a program or runs a program. I don't know. She's probably going to be.
You said she works for the state of Wisconsin? Or?
For the health department.
Department.
So she runs a program that goes into early childhood care centers and replaces their fixtures so kids don't get poisoned with lead. So
what's your sister's name?
Madeline.
Let's give a shout out to Madeline.
Shout out to Madeline.
At Wisconsin Health Department. Yes.
You're doing important work.
You're definitely doing almost more important work. But great. Good for you, man. So that's awesome.
We went very different paths, but I went to college for acting in Southern Missouri, which was I ultimately.
And was there a break between college and coming out here?
There was a short turnaround in like a 9-month period between like graduate, maybe even less than that, actually more like 6 months ish between graduation and moving. So I graduated college in 2022.
Okay.
And then like that year I did a feature film in Southern Missouri with some of the people I knew down there called Happy Halloween. It should be coming out soon.
Oh, really?
We got distribution for it. So that's very
cool.
exciting.
All right. That's cool.
But
make sure you follow Emma.
Yeah, you'll see all these wonderful announcements of things. I did that. I did a short film as well, and then another feature in that time. So I was like already moving and grooving before getting out to LA, and then I moved out here in this January of 2023.
January 23. So you've been here. You're going on 3 years.
Yep.
Yeah, 3 years of being here.
3 years of being out in LA.
All right. What was your first gig in LA?
My first gig in LA was a short film called The Electro Rocker, about a kid's phone that is like comes to life. His playlist basically comes to life.
Oh, that's cool.
In forms of like this 80 hairband rocker who basically sings him encouraging songs to get through high school. It's so cute. Okay. It was so fun.
How long were you here till you landed that?
I had that call back 2 days after landing in LA, after arriving in LA. And then like a day after that, they emailed me and were like, you booked it.
Wow. Have you always worked as an actor here full time, or did you get another job?
I had other jobs for the first 2 years.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Of being in LA. I was a nanny for most of it, which I did during the summers of college as well. And then I also worked for a year as a front desk worker at a Pilates studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, those are good jobs because
great.
you can be flexible.
Exactly.
Right?
And
that was what it's all about.
And I got free Pilates, so that's a win.
Nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right, well, that's good. And then when did this first vertical jump into your lap?
So I did my first vertical in, I think, November of 2023. the production quality of it, it's still to this, like, it was great at the time. Like, it was with a team that still works in verticals. Like, they're great at their jobs. I think the only thing about it is, like, none of us really knew what it was that we were trying to make.
Well, that's one of my questions on it. Did you understand the format?
Like,
immediately? Did you get it?
In that first one, because I was like, when I had booked it, I was like, okay, I need to understand what I'm walking into, because it was also in the time where platforms producers what have you were like, we will not send you the script until you sign on. And I was like, okay. And I did. Don't do that. Read your scripts before you say okay to a project. I'm going to just put that out there.
100%. But they were doing that in the beginning.
They were doing that in the beginning, and it was totally fine. There was absolutely, it was a billionaire one. There was no violence. There was no intimacy. It was completely normal for the most part. Like, besides how
But it was one of the billionaire ones?
It was, it was a billionaire one.
Of course.
But like, it was very early. And so I looked up a few that were out there, because I'd seen the ads come up on like my For You page on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. I was like, what are these? What is happening? And so I like kind of understood the concept, and I was like, do I want to do this? I was like, it's money. Sure, why not? And it was fun. It was such a great experience. It was also one of the early scripts, too.
Do you remember the platform or the production company of the first one?
Oh my gosh. It was it with 24K Onions? It might have been a really early.
Or was it like Pocket one? The Pocket guys?
No. I think it was a very early 24K Onion one. And
I love working with those guys.
Yes, no, I think that's the one we did.
Yeah. The one we did was 24K. That's right. Okay.
I think I don't want to misrepresent that, but I think that was my first one with them, and then I think it was on one of the early platforms that I think has like disappeared at this point. Yeah. Called Meme Short.
Meme Short. I don't even remember that one.
No.
And do you know that there are 292 platforms now? I've got like 20 on my phone, and I thought, well, that's a lot.
Oh yeah,
there's like 200 some platforms. It's
crazy.
Over crazy. It's hard to keep up.
I mean, it's like, in theory, it's like, okay, a good idea of like, well, let's start a platform, see if get return on money. It could go well. It also couldn't. But like, you always get that in business of people trying things that are
without a doubt
popping off, and it's a toss up there.
So your first day, that first day you said you didn't quite know what it was on that first one you ever did.
Yeah, like I knew, but I also didn't know, and I don't think anybody else really knew entirely, because the script was very much one that had been translated, but then not edited once it had been translated. So like some of the syntax and diction of the lines too, we were like, what are they trying to say? Yeah. What is happening here? But again, ultimately, it was fun.
And I agree with you. It was early on. There were a lot of adjustments to scripts. It's not, lately it's gotten a lot better.
Oh, yes.
The writing has gotten, well, I can't say it's gotten great, but it's gotten better.
For sure.
Okay?
No, I would
definitely say better. There are
still issues,
particularly when they try to transcribe these from the original Chinese script into an English script. Some of the dialogue gets a little wanky, but they've gotten better at it. But early on, oh my gosh, there were always questions. Almost every day you'd run into something in your script where you'd go, what? What does this say?
Yeah.
Why am I saying this? This just in context doesn't work.
Yeah.
But yeah.
One of my favorite lines from that one that I still remember, and that was actually, I worked with Alex who did sound on that very first one recently again.
Oh my
and
God.
He remembered the line, like specifically. And the line was, what do you do besides eat lollipop at home?
What do you do besides eat lollipop at home?
Yes. And I'm like, what are they trying to say?
I don't get that.
I don't get that either. I didn't get it at the time. I definitely said it, and it's out there, me saying that somewhere. But that said, it has gotten a lot better. Improvements have been made in this space. And like I that was my first one. I only did like 2 then in 2024, and then 2 or 3, and then beginning of 2025 is when I really
exploded.
I locked in.
Okay, we did it. Speaking of locking in, how's your breathing right now? Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay. Because we're going to talk about an air purifier.
An air purifier.
That's going to keep this world completely clean. So we're going to breathe in and breathe out. And we're talking about aero.co, AEIRO.co. They've got an air purifier which will clean up to a 300 square foot room. They do a great job. HEPA air filters. You can also manage the entire process on your phone.
Wow.
And you can also find out on your phone all the stuff that was in your room before they cleaned it? Not sure I want to know. But there it is right there on the screen. Let's give it some hands. Yay, there
Spirit
it is.
fingers.
AC 150 from Arrow, right there, arrow.co.
Amazing.
Thank you, Arrow. All right. Now back to the show. All right. Tell me about acting on camera to verticals. Let's walk into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Does your acting change when that camera comes in close, or does it? What's the differences?
The difference between like verticals and traditional horizontal things that are try to be in with the same genre. Let's like say if you have a horizontal one and a vertical one, they're both dramas. I think a lot of it is already baked into the script, and certain things that you are just they have to be broader and elevated in the way that verticals are. And so I do find that is already there. I don't have to try necessarily to be like, I'm playing this for the genre or whatever. If you have a script and a setup that lends itself into that, that's good and that's there. I will say, me as an actor, I always tried to keep things grounded and keep it, good and real and connected, even within the vertical space as much as possible, because I care about my performances.
Of course.
I care about like the storytelling of it, no matter how absurd the story is. And so I do find that like, I want to be present and still have it be nuanced, even within the necessity of a little bit larger than lifeness of verticals.
Do you think that there is any distinct differences between acting on traditional horizontal versus vertical?
Yeah, I think I think that like it is the melodrama. You can be, I don't want to call it like the bad acting, but you can play the emotions a little bit more rather
You're
than...
definitely a little bigger.
Yes,
there's
for
no
sure,
doubt.
for sure. And I think with like traditional acting, you're oftentimes as an actor, you're told so much to be like, okay, don't play the emotion, play the action, like really think about what you want and how you're affecting your partner. And that still remains true for verticals. But I do think like it is also results driven to a certain extent, because so much of the audience and the apps care about the statistics behind things. And so they will very much be like, no, we want this exact reaction and this exact shot, this exact way. And being able to hear that and then deliver it, I think is a very specific skill set and ability, just to be like, yeah, I'm going to pull that, immediately give you what you're asking for, right, rather than being like, okay, we're going to find it in this scene and it will come up organically as an actor, Well,
they do ask a lot in those situations, particularly when you get the client and the director involved.
Yes.
There's always these things. The verticals, there's much more client interaction than there is on traditional film. There's just no doubt. Yeah, but they're always there. They're always there, and they're always making their comments. Some good, some bad, but
I think it spans the gap in an interesting way between film and commercial. In that way, I mean, like it's similar to having a client there for commercial work,
right? Because and you just said exactly where I went, because I remember the first time getting a little bit just turned off that this client kept asking me to do certain things. And then I finally just got into my head a little bit, and I thought, no, you know what? Just pretend you're on a commercial, because the clients do that all the time, which they're paying the money for the commercial.
Exactly.
So it's like, they're doing that. And the clients on verticals are doing the same.
Yeah. And they know to what the platform specifically is looking to sell.
Right.
And so being able to kind of split those things off, because you'll also find it, I think, in my personal experience, it's different between different platforms, obviously. And so like certain ones, that is so much more important of like, okay, we need to hit these things. This is what we're selling. This is what our audience looks for.
Especially the ones where they go, this is the way it looked on the China version of it. And now we want it to, you know all those moments?
Yes. One of my favorite moments. It was actually on the one that we did together. And I don't take offense to this whatsoever at all.
Okay, you guys, you know what? Anything that we talk here, we might be talking, it's, it's all because this is all different. This is all so new. And it's a different way of filming and a different way of managing a set. That's what it is. So go ahead, tell
we were with like the opening scene for it, which is always very important for the platform and the client, whatever, is this client came up to me and showed me a picture of, if we are familiar with Haley Lorley, the actress in the vertical space, a picture of her. It was like, this is what we want for this. And I was like, you could have hired Haley.
But you got me.
You got me instead. I will do my best to be her, but unfortunately, I cannot be. Right, but I understood like the like vibe essence they were going for, because she oftentimes plays like a little bit of sweeter, roles or whatever.
Yes, exactly. She does.
I don't as much. Like my characters tend to be a little bit harder, which not more difficult, but like
you have much more. You're more of a power.
Yes,
you're more power,
and so I think they were like, okay, you need to stop that and be a little bit softer for this.
You are not that dainty girl that's kind of hiding in the corner.
It's
I mean,
entirely.
You can play it, but
I can, but there's other people who do it better. And so I completely respect the ability to do that and provide that performance, because that is like, I'm not as good as that. I know where I am good. And I think that like from the roles that I have played in the vertical space, like people also see where I'm good. Like it's very hard for me to turn off the like assertiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's where that came from.
So have you been leaning into that more lately? And do you tend to are you getting more cast in those type of roles?
Yes, I actually, on the last one I did, in a conversation that I had with, I think it was the director or casting, about like why they wanted me specifically for that role, I had like mentioned, I was like, yeah, I've been like oddly fortunate to play a lot of female characters that have more agency and have more voice and have more say, which I don't want to say it's like rare in verticals, but it's not these, as much of the trope, the stereotype of women being that way. And I think it was the director who's like, yeah, that's why we wanted you specifically for this role.
Okay.
Because I didn't audition, but they just like offered it of like, no, you have basically a reputation of playing those sort of roles. And I'm like, that's a great reputation.
I'll
to
take
have.
that.
I will
Exactly.
gladly take that one. Yeah.
We need to get you hooked up with Shara TV.
I would love to.
That's what
I met Kylie for the first time like a few weeks ago.
Oh,
so
good.
yeah, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, her episode was just on.
Yeah,
2 weeks ago.
I saw that you just had her on. Yeah,
we did. Oh, she's great. And the Shara TV launch is going to be.
I'm excited. It's
very
so cool
exciting.
what they're doing. So cool what they're doing.
Well, and just in reading, when I read your bio, it's almost that you say exactly the words in here that you want to do: create more empowered female characters, diverse and inclusive casts, elevated stories, and workplaces that are safe and positive for all cast and crew. Yeah. That's Shara TV.
Well,
that's what it is. So I was like, all right, I love that. Okay, what is I want to know, I'm curious about this because I love hearing these stories. Is there a typical day on a vertical series? What does a typical day look like?
Oh,
when you have to do 100 pages in one day.
Yeah, no,
I mean, what is a typical day?
I'd say like in lead world in verticals, a typical day. I mean, I should prep more, but I'm the type of person, I wake up 15 minutes before I gotta leave. And I'm like, I have clothes on. Do I smell okay? Great. We're heading to set.
Okay.
This is great. Which ultimately kind of sounds gross.
Hang in here, fans. This is good story stuff. These are good anecdotes. Go.
No, but I mean, like you get to set, hop in hair and makeup. I usually, because, as you know, production runs so quickly and in pre-production, sometimes you don't get the final version of the script until a few days before. And so doing any sort of line work, character work, prep is kind of like a loose concept of what things might be. And so, I'll have my sides on like my iPad or my phone, and then someone will walk into the hair and makeup chair and give you more. And I'm like, great. I will lose these, but I really appreciate it. And then I kind of scene by scene throughout the day, like I like make sure I'm prepped before each scene. It's very much like a moment to moment sort of thing in terms of my actor prep. But yeah, it's literally nonstop as soon as you step on set. Usually it's like you're in hair and makeup, you're in wardrobe, and then you fly straight to set. You get mic'd up, you start the scene. As soon as that scene is all shot out, you're back to hair and makeup or back to wardrobe, back to the other things. And there is rarely a single second where I am sitting around and waiting because of how quickly things move. And you hear so much about film and TV. It's like, it's the hurry up and wait, which is how it is in traditional TV and film. And when you're playing a supporting role, or if you're a day player or whatever, you do have those, more time of just like, okay, I have 3 scenes before my next one. But when you are in every single scene, it is 12 hours of constant attentiveness, moving. Like there's not a single moment, even at lunch. A lot of times, like I will do sometimes callbacks at lunch. I will be talking to other actors and crew members, like being like, I have to be present. I want to make this a vibe good for everyone. So it is like 12 hours of constant just everything coming at you, and then you're done.
Okay. So do vertical films shoot out of order on their scenes like traditional that you find?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I just want the fans to hear that. So does that drive you crazy a little bit, or is that always? I mean, it's kind of part of the way we always do it.
It is part of the way we do it, and it's a thing of like, that's what I love about verticals too. Is it has been, and I'm sure other people have hammered this in on this podcast many a times, but it's such great training. As an actor, and like
we talk about it every week, and there's no reason not to talk about it, because if you're an actor, if you're a PA, a gaffer, a sound person, a DP, any of those, even behind the camera, jobs, you're going to always be working. How much better is it to work than it is not to work?
For sure.
And I've even talked about it. It's like, I don't even need to take as many acting classes anymore. Because I'm always on set, and I'm always learning, and I'm taking notes, and I'm learning my scripts, and I'm creating the characters. So I'm doing all those exercises that you do in acting classes, and you're able to do it every day and get paid a little bit to do it. So it's like, okay.
It is like, it has forced me into a place, and with my like acting skill toolbox, as they like to call it.
Right, yes.
Of being able to just immediately pull upon those things, because you don't get rehearsal time. You don't get prep time. You don't get any of the things you might get on a traditional set or in theater or anything like that. Exactly. Like you have to understand where you're at in the story immediately, because oftentimes like the director is dealing with a million things, and usually they're very good at being like, okay, this is what happened before. This is where we're at. This is what we're doing. But sometimes they don't have the capacity to do that, or other things are happening. So you need to know where in the story you're at, where you're coming from, where you're going, at what point, like your relationships at with whoever else is in the scene. And just working that muscle so many times, it makes it so much easier to be able to just like instantly drop yourself into that moment without overthinking it. Like it removes the ability to be like, oh my gosh, what should I do? What should it, like, it facilitates just acting on impulse to the highest degree, which is great as an actor.
Yes, it is. Are you now full-time? You don't have
I am full-time.
You're full-time as an actor?
Yes.
I mean, and would that have happened without vertical films?
No. Not a single chance that would happen at this point. Well, I mean, win the lottery, be like, I got an audition, somehow booked it as a nobody. But no, it would not have happened at this point in my career without verticals.
So you, like me, you're ultimately very grateful that this world is even around.
Yeah.
What is your plan?
I mentioned it in my lovely little bio. Obviously, I'm going to continue acting in verticals and non-vertical work, but I'm also have experience producing and have put together a team. Just in the past few weeks, it's really started picking up and rolling. We have a slate of potential scripts, and we are moving forward with one. And our plan is to hopefully produce it independently and then shop it to platforms and see if we can get distribution.
So have you already gone out and found funding for this?
We have a potential investor.
Okay, good.
So that's where that stands.
You know how exciting this is, because you're now the second person in a week that I've worked with on verticals that is launching a separate film career on top of being an actor. Yeah. Which is just, Royce Lundquist, I worked with him on Royce Lundquist,
you know the name? We've not worked together.
So I had worked with him on a couple of films, and all of a sudden he calls me and he started a commercial world of vertical filming of commercials, which is a huge category. It's like in the vertical world, the advertising world has gotten massive. I'm sure. Bigger than actually filmmaking. So he's launched this little company. He and a guy that was a first AD on a very early film I did, the two of them, he and Lucas, and I just love hearing that, because you guys have become so entrepreneurial, and it's so exciting to hear that you're going way beyond just being an actor.
It's a part of
not just, but it's
it's the thing of it's something that I never really thought would be a part of a potential career path for me. But as you kind of get into where the film industry is right now,
right,
like making things yourself, if you have those opportunities come at you, like this investor kind of just like landed in our lap. And we were
okay,
like,
well, that's the best way.
Yeah, exactly. We're like, okay, well, we got to run with this and see where it goes. And it's also just like, it is show business. It is a business.
It is.
And
the vertical entertainment world has just found its own little niche.
Yes.
And, people go, oh, is it going to take over? No, there's no takeover here. This is an added value to entertainment. Yeah. This is just another added channel that says, you know what? We're going to create all this really cool content. It's just going to be in 9:16 format.
Yeah.
Because we talk a lot about 9:16 being the format versus 16:9, which is this way.
Yeah.
So it's just everything is pointing to this.
Yeah.
Everything. So no matter what you do, if you're this is the early phases of vertical filmmaking and entertainment in general.
Yeah.
I know we can talk about this because the Academy Awards were a few weeks ago. And I don't know if you saw it, but did you see it? Did you watch when Conan O'Brien brought up vertical filmmaking?
I did not.
Oh, yes. You'll have to find that clip.
Oh, and I know
goodness. He, for 1 minute and 18 seconds, talked about vertical filmmaking. And he said, there's this world of people that are calling themselves screenagers. You ready for that word? Screenagers, which are the teenagers that watch everything on their phone.
Yeah.
Right? So they're calling them screenagers. And he talked about, they made up a story. They were basically mocking vertical filmmaking.
Oh, of course.
Which to me, mocking is a huge flattering.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? Make fun of me.
Yeah.
Go ahead. But they made fun of us on the biggest filmmaking stage in the world and spent 1 minute and 20 seconds or 1 minute and 18 seconds talking about vertical filmmaking.
Yeah.
So find the clip. It's awesome. They do and because they show these scenes from like classic films. They talk and they're basically cutting out everybody in the scene. They show the scene from When Harry Met Sally, and all you can do is you can hear her moaning, and all you actually see in the background is a woman drinking coffee at the end of the table because the screen is like this. Yeah. So it's just weird, but it was fun.
That's very fun. And that's the thing of like, it is great to be made fun of.
Absolutely.
100%. Like I was having a conversation I grabbed coffee with a friend the other day who we met in the horizontal space. And she was like, I just want to know more about the vertical space. Right. And we, transitioned into a conversation about all the changes that the film and TV industry, entertainment industry have gone throughout the years. And all the way back to silent film.
Absolutely.
When sound was introduced, people were like, no, you're ruining the art form.
That's right.
Things change all the time.
Hey, when they got off of horses and went into a car, people were like, wait a minute, you can't do that.
This is
what you're going to ride around in a machine as opposed to, So this is one of those moments.
Change is always scary.
Change is scary. And that's scary. What's happening here.
Yeah. And it's also, I'm like, it is fair. It's easy to discount verticals. A lot of them are very silly. But
they are, but that's just the way it goes.
That's just the way it goes.
But you know what we're going to have to do here in a moment? We're going to breathe in and breathe out again. We're going to do a little yoga. We're going to talk about aero.co, our sponsor for the show. AEIRO.co, best air purifier on the market. The AC150 air purifier. It's right there on the screen. Let's give it a shout. There you go, AC150. 300 square foot room. It'll clean it all up. It'll keep your air clear. It actually runs so silent that you could have these on every movie set in the world and no one would hear them running at all.
That's insane.
That's how silent they are. So there you go. Aero.co, AEIRO.co, our wonderful sponsor that keeps the lights on. So thank you very much for being there.
Wow.
All right, let's get back to this. You know what we're going to do?
Okay.
We're going to play a game.
Oh, boy.
And then we'll go back to talking some more. But
I love a game.
You like a game? This is rapid fire with Emma on the Vertical Buzz.
Okay.
All right.
I won't look.
You're looking at the questions.
I don't think my eyesight's that good.
I know mine's not. That's why I have these on. All right, here we go, Emma. Vertical versus horizontal acting. What's the biggest difference in one word?
Size.
That's a good one. When you're filming a vertical scene, what is harder, the close-ups or the speed of production?
Speed of production.
the first thing you do to lock in to a character on a vertical set?
Try to make a playlist.
A playlist?
A playlist.
A musical playlist?
A musical playlist.
Wow, do tell that. I love that idea.
Oh, for any character work, I try, if I have time, to make character playlists. And so that the character work is done that way, is I find songs that...
So while you're learning lines, do you listen to that playlist?
Yeah, typically, like, not necessarily, usually while I'm learning lines, maybe like if I'm in the chair or whatever, or in the morning, I will make a playlist that encapsulates like the way a character thinks and how it's different from the way I think.
Are you getting that? I think that I've never heard that style. I love that though. That is awesome. Yeah. Wow. We might get back to that.
Okay.
Okay, you're scrolling your phone. Mm-hmm. What makes you stop and watch a vertical scene instead of swiping right by it?
Usually if I know one of the actors.
There's an honest answer right there. If I know who they are, right?
Oh, it's one of my. I literally, again, this is not rapid, but last week, my friend Gabe Arbentano, who does a bunch of verticals, he came up on my For You page in this massive fake beard, and I was like, okay, I gotta watch this, and so I screenshotted it and sent it to him, and I was like, love this.
All right, be honest. Is the phone screen the new movie screen?
No, okay. Something new.
Thank you. That's where I would go with that. That's like, is it the new? No, it's an additional. It's just an addition to.
They both can exist.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. You're from St. Louis.
I am from St. Louis.
Quick hometown question: toasted ravioli or gooey butter cake?
This is the best question you could have possibly asked.
Come on.
Listen close.
Yeah, okay. All you Missouriites out there. Come on.
I love toasted ravioli is my favorite food on earth. Genuinely.
I've been to St. Louis a few times. That's why I even knew what to ask here.
That is the most me St. Louis question ever. Toasted ravioli, like if someone asks me what your favorite food is, I'm like toasted ravioli. And then growing up, as a child, every year my grandma would make me gooey butter cake for my birthday.
Really?
Yes. That was like my birthday cake.
You're on the fence on this.
I'm on the fence. I do have to go with toasted ravioli.
Okay, ding, 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 ding,
ding.
You heard it here.
Heart and soul. But those two things are very important to me and my life.
I get it.
Fantastic question.
I get it. It came to me one day a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, what have I done in St. Louis? And it was other than go to a Cardinal game, or back in the day, I went to a couple Cardinal games, which is great. Did a couple commercials down there. While I was living in Chicago, so I did come down to there quite a bit. But then toasted ravioli. I mean, there used to be a couple of department stores that based in St. Louis. May Company Corporate, if you remember the May Company department stores, your fans might remember May Company. May Company department stores were based there. Yeah. And then there was a store called Famous Bar.
Famous Bar, yeah.
And I used to call on Famous Bar as a sales guy. So I used to.
Really?
Yes, I used to fly in on TWA to St. Louis and go down and call on Famous Bar.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
It was one of the TWA airline hubs.
Oh my God, yeah. It was, wasn't it? No, Famous Bar was by the wayside by my early childhood, but I remember Famous Bar, my mom still had boxes and bags from Famous Bar, and so she would reminisce Famous Bar.
So we've got it all here. We got Famous Bar, we got toasted ravioli, and we've got gooey butter cake. Okay,
exactly.
Did we do good?
We did great. We did great. We couldn't have done better.
If someone is watching their very first vertical ever, what's the one thing that you would want them to notice about the acting?
Ooh, I would want them to be aware of just that it's on purpose.
Yeah, yeah.
The outlandishness is intentional.
Well, that's actually really good advice, because if you didn't know that, it would be a little harder to watch.
Yeah.
But if you know it's on purpose.
Of no, this is the style, this is the genre, whatever. Of going into it, just be aware of that.
Okay.
And once you are, it should be smooth sailing.
Well, there we go. And that is Rapid Fire on the Vertical Buzz with Emma today. And we even got in a few hometown St. Louis stuff. We did it. I want to talk about the fans.
The fans.
Yeah, the fans. Are fans discovering you?
Oh, for sure. Definitely they are.
Have you been recognized?
In public, I have not been.
Not yet. Okay.
And I
say yet because it'll happen. It'll happen.
I'm cool with that though. I think I would be like, I'm being watched.
Yeah.
In public, but it's fine. No, it would be very much like appreciated. My own anxieties, so it would be like, does someone here know me? Is someone here watching me?
But you say the fans are discovering you. Are you building your social media numbers are getting bigger and bigger?
Yes, my social media, especially within the past few months, has grown a bunch. And then I do get lovely, lovely messages from people on social media. Obviously, I do have a smaller following than some in the industry, but yes. I'm so appreciative of those who have followed me and those who do reach out, because even if I'm unable to respond, it is still so appreciated. And
listen, if you're not following Emma, follow Emma. Give us your where to find you on social media.
Yeah, go ahead and follow me at Emma Reinagel on both Instagram and TikTok. I'm not really too active on TikTok, but I'm trying to be better.
But then if you do follow Emma, you then will run into some fun little videos like I ran into the other day where Emma explained you in the pool with this odd little voice talking on the edge of the pool.
Yeah, I shot that me and my sister. It was okay.
I literally was on the floor because it made me laugh so hard.
That video is from back in 2021.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
It's years old.
Oh my gosh.
And it was me and my sister when we were on vacation, and there'd been a trend on TikTok around that time of people making these little skits pretending to be kids asking you if you wanted to play mermaids. And so that's where that comes from, is me doing my take on a kid asking you on vacation that you just meet if you want to go play mermaids. Because number one, I was that kid. And number two, I've nannied for years. And so I'm I have my finger on the pulse of what a kid talks like to a T. So that was my posting of that a few weeks ago. It was maybe I should do more little comedy skit stuff. And then I did not do another one. But the idea was there.
So you repurposed it.
I repurposed it.
And did it give you some lift?
A little bit.
Yeah,
a small bit.
That matters.
It's all that matters.
It is. It's all that matters.
But it's the idea is still percolating out there of the constant thing of maybe I should put more on social media and make content and stuff, but then I never do. So the idea is there.
Just keep doing it.
It's the thought that counts.
So where do you think this industry is going in the next few years? Give us your estimate of where is vertical entertainment headed?
I think right now we are at a very interesting point, more so than we have been over the past few years, because AI has continued to get better and better.
Yep, it has.
And
I'm actually not afraid of that either.
That's kind of where I'm going with it, because I don't think it'll ever replace it, but I do think it's going to change the way things occur and are made. I do think that you will see the AI verticals very much get a stronghold, a foothold in this part of entertainment. I don't think there's any way to avoid that. But I do think because that is happening, it will then demand something different from traditionally made people verticals that sets it apart from the AI and what you can create with AI. I think it's very easy for AI to create banquet scenes, your slaps, your outlandish things. And so my hope that's not based on any data whatsoever, this is just my dream, my wish, is that some of the more extreme vertical content gets handled by AI. So some of the
extreme meaning
abuse storylines.
Yes, thank you.
Any sort of thing that is where, especially the actresses, we are constantly having conversations about hey, did you see this breakdown? Did you get this offer? Did you read the script? It's ridiculous what they're trying to ask these people to do. Mm-hmm. And so I really don't think the apps are going to shy away from it, but my hope is that it is done. If AI is going to be around, that's what AI is doing.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, listen, I've done enough of these scripts where I have to be that mean, slap my wife, slap my kids. I mean, it's, the things that I would never do. And it's just not me. Mm-hmm. And I've asked the questions many times. Do I need to do this? Is this something that needs to be done? And then the argument, I never win that argument, but it's because that's just the way the film is.
It's the way it is. It's what sells. It's what the audience wants, whatever. Yeah. I don't know what statistics or data that they have on their end. And I'm hey, if that is that's what you're going to make. I hope that AI can kind of fill that gap, and then it allows and then kind of forces verticals to expand genre and expand quality and be something that is different and is better. And so those two different things are they just take up different spaces within the, vertical entertainment world. That's my hope, is that like, that is where it heads, Do
you see any movement at all on actors being able to take advantage of royalties or commissions on top of their pay? Because the pay is pretty low.
The pay is
low. The leads can make a little money, but even that money is not star power money.
The leads can oftentimes make SAG minimum or a little bit over SAG minimum.
Yes.
But again, that is minimum.
That's minimum.
And I will say for like your standard budget, that's excludes some of the micro budget, low budget SAG.
That's different.
Whatever. But like that, you can get that. But again, then they would still most likely be getting residuals on top of that, depending on what you're doing.
And that's what I'm trying to advocate for.
Yeah.
I'm trying to advocate more that there needs to be some kind of a back end help for the actors, because we all know it's all out there.
Yeah.
The amount of money, because of these paywalls, the way vertical films are watched, the amount of money these guys are making on these it's ludicrous compared to what we're making.
Yes.
There's no balance.
No.
It is not balanced. Not saying there should be an easy balance, but there needs to be a way for an actor to garner a little more income at the back end of this.
And I think that's like one of the reasons why verticals are able to move at the pace that they do is because there isn't the paperwork and the red tape and the back end and the million people that have to then manage that sort of, the distribution of the finances that way,
right.
Which doesn't mean it's the right way to do it. But it is the way it works right now. If things all go according to plan and well, with the hope that, I can start producing independent projects, I hope that there'd be some say that I have in the process of continuing to make these, where back end points are available. And I know some actors with certain platforms, specifically ones that are more American or Western, are seeing that a tiny bit.
They're starting to get that in their contract?
I've heard,
I haven't heard that yet.
I have heard that from 2 people on like one project.
Okay.
So it has happened.
Okay.
But it's very rare. And it's I think it is a thing that will happen a little bit.
Yep.
But it's going to be very slow.
I have just started asking my management and my agents to inquire about that.
Yeah.
On the next contract that we get.
Yeah.
Which is like, is there any way to add this in?
And it's I would say it's definitely possible. I think the apps like to frame it as like, oh, we can't really, it's possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be a very slow process. I don't think all the platforms will jump on and having that an option, but I do see it as a possibility in this coming year that you see it a tiny bit more.
Right.
Hopefully.
Okay.
Hopefully.
What else would you like to talk about here today? Do you have any issues that you'd like to bring to the fans, to the public, to the creators?
No, I'm so very grateful for the community of creatives that this has made, the community of fans that Verticals have made. It is something that's so very special to be a part of like, we're all in this crazy boat together. Don't know where it's headed. Don't know where the winds will take us, but it's so nice. And then just having the fans who truly care. And every time someone, posts a review or anything of something I've been in, it is truly special of like, you watched this, you took enough time to be attentive and care about putting your thoughts about it out into the world. Like, that is so greatly appreciated, at least by me. I'm like, that you spent time and you care about it. And that's just lovely.
And speaking of that, the fan awards are coming up in a couple
they
of
are.
weeks. They are. We're going to talk about the Vertical Drama Love Fan Awards 2025. I mean, this is such a great effort. Jen Cooper at Vertical Drama Love, we all love her in this industry. She has done just a spectacular job raising the bar and really getting the world to understand what vertical filmmaking is all about. And she had this idea to do these vertical fan awards. And so what these are awards that are going to be voted on by the fans.
Yeah.
And the Academy Awards are not voted that way. There are a couple awards like the People's Choice Awards or some of the MTV awards used to be by the fans.
Yeah.
But this is the first in this world that is being offered up, that the fans are actually the ones that are making the decisions here. So we're real excited. The Vertical Drama Love Fan Awards are coming up on April 23rd. Of this year, 2026. So just in a couple of weeks, the awards are coming up. And also I'm excited to announce that yours truly, right here, the Vertical Buzz, will be the host and MC of the awards. Woo! There you go. I can't wait. I mean, I've hosted events, but this one I actually literally get chills thinking about every time.
Yeah.
Just the fact of being able to get up there and honor our community of vertical filmmakers and creators and actors and the fans. Just to be able to honor that is going to be an awful lot of fun.
So cool.
We are going to, and in addition to that, we are going to be doing a special episode just for the Vertical Drama Love Awards for the Vertical Buzz. And we're going to be filming that show, and it's actually going to air on the 21st of April. So the Vertical Drama Love Fan Awards Special Edition Vertical Buzz episode is going to be released on the 21st of April. So you're all going to get a chance to meet Jen. She's going to be on.
Oh,
we got her on remote coming over from London, and we've got a couple people. We're going to hang out on the couch right here on our set with a couple of the executive producers of the show, along with myself, Buzz, as the MC and the host. And we're going to talk all about the Vertical Awards that are going to be that night of April 23rd at the El Portel Theater in North Hollywood.
Incredible.
Which is in itself a really cool venue.
Yeah.
This is cool. It's a 100-year-old theater. That theater launched in 1926. True.
Oh, so it's like exactly.
It literally is a 100-year-old theater. It was built and opened in 1926.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Oh, I love that.
I think that's so great.
That's so great.
So if you want tickets, whether they're still available, because this is airing a couple weeks before the episode, the tickets are going to be, just follow at Vertical Drama Love. That's at Vertical Drama Love. We also will eventually get up ticket information, or it should be up by now, on theverticalbuzz.com on our website. So we'll have ticket information for theverticalbuzz.com. Ticket and show accessibility, whether you're going to watch it virtually or you're going to be there in person. And I know it'll probably sell out pretty quick, but at Vertical Drama Love, at theverticalbuzz.com, check it out. Vertical Drama Love Awards 2025 happening in Los Angeles, 2025 coming up April 23rd. There you go.
Woo!
There's the punch for that. What advice would you give a young actor starting out? How do you get into vertical film? I
mean, I think that was a thing that when I first started doing it, I was like, I need to get in early, so I'm a person in this space before that people want to work with that has a track record, and so I do think it can seem like daunting to be like, oh, but I haven't done it before, or whatever. But it is the perfect place to start. In my opinion, like I started with supporting roles. I did I think one day player, and then I was fortunate enough to jump to leads. But like, just get on set, start meeting people
100%.
That way. Like show up and do your best work, no matter the size of your role, because that does not matter. There are people that I have met on set who were just there for one day, and they showed up and they were attentive and they were amazing and knew their lines, and they were like fabulous to work with, and then they kept showing up in bigger and bigger roles. Right. And like those things, that is what will happen.
For any of you young actors that are out there today, not just actors, gaffers, technicians, camera operators, you guys are so lucky. I mean, I wish there had been this kind of a community around when I was starting out as an actor, because you have a brand new platform to be able to shine as someone in the entertainment business. Yeah. And it's a great opportunity. Every one of these films hires about 50 people to work on a set, 40 to 50 people between all the technicians and actors. Last year, there were 150 of those films shot in LA in 2025. This year, they're projected to do over 400 vertical films just in Los Angeles. And for those of you beyond Los Angeles, they're being shot now in New York. I just understand Knoxville, Tennessee, Atlanta, Georgia, Dallas. There are so many other places in the country just check out vertical filmmaking, and you will find all these platforms. And you've got, as a young actor, a perfect opportunity to take advantage of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do they build a reel? Do they just, how would they do this?
I would and this is what I will tell to anyone who's like, if you are starting off, no training, you're just like, I want to be an actor. Number one, take a class just so you have a baseline knowledge of terminology, of what is expected of you, anything. But then if you are wanting to get into actually booking work, there are platforms such as Actors Access, Backstage, Casting Networks. Those are the main ones that I'd be like, there are vertical auditions that you can, breakdowns you can apply for every single day. Right. There are dozens of them daily. Every single day. They flood too many people's chagrin. They flood the casting sites. Yeah. But if you are on a casting site, make sure you have a headshot. And if you don't have a professional headshot, just a good, well-lit photo of yourself, especially for verticals, that'll do it to get your foot in the door. And any sort of footage, video of you acting, if it's at the beginning, a video of you doing a monologue against a wall in your home. Right. Just shoot it on your iPhone, shoot it on whatever you got. And that'll, as long as the casting has a way to see you acting, see the way you move, that is plenty to get your foot in the door. If you just are like, I want to get on set, I want to see what it's like, that is the best place to start there. And then once you are on set, be the best team player you can be. Be present. Be present. Listen. Know when it's your time to do your work and when it's your time to be quiet. That is a number one thing is we are all there to support one another and to support the final product. So it is a workplace and treat it as such. And if you are follow all those things, like just keep working towards it and put in the work, because it is work. You just got to keep driving towards it. And that is really great advice, you guys. So pay attention. Pay attention to this. Emma just gave you guys, $1 million worth of advice there. So just, take it, run with it, do whatever you need to do with it. But you definitely have, people are saying in this town that there's not enough work. Well, there really is. There's almost as much work as you want to do. Yeah. In the vertical entertainment world. Yeah. Yes, I can agree. In horizontal work in LA, it's less and less every day. So that is not happening here. But because I know that Emma, like myself, if I had to depend on the commercial world and just what's going on in LA in the studios these days, no, I would have to get another job. Yep. So I'm very fortunate, very grateful. Very fortunate. For the vertical world today. Well, I think that we are at that point. We're running out of time here today, but this has been just like, are you kidding me? Better than I even expected, Emma. Thank you. Amazing. I feel like I just rambled for like an hour and a half. That's what podcasting can be. It's great. It's great. So we're gonna wrap up the episode here with Emma. A big thank you, giving us all of your great insight into the world of acting in vertical films, and a lot of good advice for young actors. Just in general, has been really great. Did you ever think you'd be giving advice to young actors? 3 years into this program in LA? Man, I could only hope that I'd be in a place to do that and still take everything I say with a grain of salt. I only know so much. And the fact that you landed here 3 years ago and now you're a full-time actor. I know, that's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. And who knows how long that'll last, but I'm so grateful that it's here now. You are. And then tonight you can go home and have some toasted ravioli and you'll be a very happy person. Oh my gosh. One could only hope. One could only hope. All right. And of course, I want to do a big shout out to our sponsor, Aero.co. These guys do a great job. We couldn't keep the lights on without them, so there they go. A big shout out to the Glendale Podcast Studio. Erica, Jason, George, those guys do more than enough and keep this running and keep those episodes coming on every Thursday. Make sure you're following them. Just check them out at the Glendale Podcast Studio. And a special shout out to our incredible social media director. Anna does such an amazing job. She keeps this going. She's always like surprising me with, we got to put this up. And it's like, oh yeah, put that up. And the next thing you know, we got 150,000 views. So she's doing a great job of putting that up and keeping it going and keeping the buzz going. Rim shot for that, please.
We're doing that. And more importantly, guys, thank you so much for listening to all my fans out there and to all the fans of the Vertical Buzz. Our subscribers are getting bigger and bigger every week. And I encourage you to subscribe, because then you subscribe and you're going to get the early announcement that the episode is coming up. And in the future here, there's going to be even more advantages to being a subscriber, especially when we start launching merchandise and things like that. So please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, anywhere that you find your podcasts. And you can always find out everything you want at theverticalbuzz.com. Stay up with that. Our website is very active. You can sign up on there to follow us on all of our social media platforms. That's at theverticalbuzz.com. And there's always one thing that I want you to remember as you go out there, that the future of entertainment is in the palm of your hand.